Hey friends, thanks you guys for tuning in. My name is Walton, and today I'm going to be talking about Unreal Engine 5, and more specifically the feature that they brought out, which is called Nanite. And so I just want to get into how it's going to affect the video game industry and how it's different from what games used to be, starting off from like when 3D games first became popular. So a little bit about me, just making this quick. I've been working with 3D animation and 3D modeling for about 10 years now. I started off with Lightwave 3D. If you haven't heard of it, it's the same program used in like The Walking Dead and a bunch of other video games. But now I'm focusing more on Blender because it seems to be the popular thing. So let's get straight into it. As you can see here, there are a whole bunch of static objects, and these are called Japanese Komeinu statues. What is that exactly? I don't know, but they're statues. And let's just get a count of them really quick. I'm going to try to keep this at about like the 10-minute mark so I don't bore people. And there are exactly 2,700 of these statues here, all being displayed, and I can see them in real time. So within the editor, I'm getting about a 30 FPS, and it's lower because there's a whole UI and all that. But once I press play, you can see that it jumps up, and I'm getting about 70 to 80 FPS. And so this nanite technology is huge. I really think it's going to change the gaming industry and really take things from 0 to 1,000. Now, why is that? So a little bit of history. Let's go back into the past of when 3D games kind of first started getting popular with the Nintendo 64. If you ever played a game like Super Mario 64 or Diddy Kong Racing or I don't know, GoldenEye, you would notice whenever you see objects that are like a circle or just had some kind of curve to their shape, it was never a perfect curve. It always looked kind of weird and edgy and polygonish, and that was because there was an inability to draw that many polygons and to make things look realistic. You may see like wheels that are kind of like an octagon, or Mario's hat was just not quite circular. So throughout the video game industry, as games got better from the Nintendo 64, we went to like the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and so on. Processing power became far greater for CPUs and GPUs. And so what the genius programmers and game developers have figured out to be able to do is to draw more polygons so that you have more detail. So you may have noticed in like the first Grand Theft Auto, well, like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City, the characters' hands were kind of stuck together like this, and there was just a thumb that moved. They'd wave and dance like this and whatever. It'd be really weird. But then later on in like Grand Theft Auto 4 on the PlayStation 3, we finally got a huge polygon boost, polygon count, and the fingers were actually separate. You know, ears weren't attached to people's heads. Things started to look more realistic. And this has been a limitation in the video game industry for artists for a long, long time. They'd have to work around it in order to make things look as realistic as possible with the limited amount of polygons that they have. Because if you were to have too much, it would bring down the frame rate and a game would not be playable. So it seems like what these geniuses at Epic Games has done is figured out a way to pretty much have an infinite amount of polygon counts. If you don't know what a polygon is, it's just a shape. If you take 3 dots, you connect them together, you have a triangle. 4 dots, you have a square. It's a shape. So in every 3D game you've ever played, these shapes have always been pieced together and morphed into whatever it is that the artist has wanted to create, whether it's a car or it's I don't know, a gun or a character's arms in a video game. So you'll see that all of these objects are very, very detailed. I can get really close to them. You can see like the indentations inside the creases. The bumps are actually coming out. It almost seems like something that you could touch and feel the rigidness of the rocks on it and everything. And this is just something that's incredible. It's never been done in video games. There's always been tricks to make things look like it's protruding, such as using bump maps and bump map textures. But now it's actual real geometry that's protruding out in 3D space. And to be able to see all of these objects at once and still be able to play at a good frame rate is just mind boggling to me. I have no idea how they figured out how to do this. So I'm going to switch the view and go to Nanite visualization and just show you how many triangles are here. So, and what I think they did is just made it so that as you get closer to an object, it draws more triangles and it has more detail. And as you get further away from it, the triangles, there's less triangles there's less triangles being drawn out, so that puts less of a strain on the CPU or GPU, whichever they have it running on. Maybe it's both. And I have so many objects here. There's, what did I say? There was, let's do some quick math. There are, oh, I selected the wrong thing. Let's see. Okay, so there's 2,700 objects selected. Each of these statues has exactly 2,000 polygons within them. So let's do the math. That's 2,700 times 2,000. There are 5,400,000 polygons in this scene alone. That is mind-boggling. So I'm going to switch the view back and let's try to push it a little bit more. So I'm going to take all these objects and I'm just going to hold Alt and let's duplicate it and see if we can get more. It's going a little slow. I don't have like the fastest video card. I've got the 1080 Ti is what I'm using, which is a popular card. I do plan to upgrade soon, eventually. So I just doubled the polygon count. Let's see if we could do that again and triple it. And it just does it with no problem at all. So we just tripled our polygon count. So let's take that, multiply it by 3. I have 16,200,000 polygons in this instance happening. And let's see, I still have a pretty solid 60, almost 70 FPS. It's crazy. It looks like that scene from The Matrix where it's like, we need guns, lots of guns, and then he just flies through and all the, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen The Matrix. Hopefully you've seen The Matrix. But yeah, I really think this is going to change the video game industry a lot because artists are no longer limited to what it is that they can create. I think we're going to see a lot more detailed environments, a lot more detailed characters. Maybe there is a polygon limit, I don't know, but there's so many that it's just like negligible. It doesn't even matter anymore. And the fact that this can run in real time, it's crazy. Like, I really am trying to understand this, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So I really want to know what you guys think about this. I don't think it's really been implemented into video games just yet because, you know, with the new console generation, there's always games that are made for both the last gen console and the next gen console. I think we're kind of still in that awkward phase, and I doubt that the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 can actually use this newer technology. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what would make sense to me. They also announced some other things such as Lumen and which is real-time global illumination, which I find insane. That real-time lights, casting shadows and everything takes so much processing power. That's something that was done in like movies that's pre-rendered before, but now I guess they've just figured it out. So yeah, I definitely want to dive into this with you guys. I'll be talking more about Unreal Engine. Let me know if you have any questions. Just leave a comment, subscribe to my channel if you want some more. It'll really help out, and I'll be more than happy to share information with you guys. Thanks for watching.